Thank you. Oh, very nice.
How about that?
Unusual. Good afternoon and welcome to the Indian Wells Valley Water District Plant and Equipment Committee, regular meeting Monday, March 2nd. We're going to call this committee meeting to order at 3 p.m. Public comment, committee comment. We have no one from the public here in the room. Do we have anyone online who would like to make a comment? Hearing none, any committee members? All right. Stark Street Mutual Water Company consolidation, notice of exemption, which we have in our packet, I see.
Yes.
Go ahead, Renee.
So this is for that Stark Street Mutual Water Company Mainline Extension project that we're working on with the Groundwater Authority.
Okay.
And the exemption is under, there's a couple codes there that you can see. One is for specific actions to prevent or mitigate an emergency. And this is the other is for installation of a new pipeline that does not exceed 1 mile in length.
Okay.
And legal counsel has reviewed this.
And if we don't get the exemption, what horrible things will befall us?
Well, we can file the exemption and then there's 30 days for anyone to challenge it. That would put the project on hold if someone did challenge it.
And if ultimately we didn't get the exemption, we'd have to pay taxes or what?
Well, we'd have to do
Environmental
a
studies?
different CEQA document
Ah.
if someone believed we needed to do some type of mitigation.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
In fact, delay the project to the point that
It wouldn't
funds are
get-
lost or no?
Yeah, I would probably wouldn't
So
get them.
if we can't get it through this path,
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what happens if we don't get the exemption. That's all.
Is
Stan.
this strictly an environmental regulation
my question.
issue?
Correct.
So all we're really doing is asking to not do all the normal legwork and the time it takes to do some type of an environmental impact statement or environment.
Yeah, there's certain types of projects that are statutorily exempt, and this would fall under that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not,
I see no reason why we should, the first thing in my mind is we ought to attempt to do it.
absolutely agree with you on that.
You know, and if we get negative feedback, then we
This-
need to think about all the issues of why we don't want to. But clearly, if we're trying to do something quick and affordably, this is the way to go.
I agree with you.
This is the same exemption, just so you know, that we used for Rademacher.
Right. I appreciate that. I'm not questioning the exemption. I was just for my own understanding, wanting to know what would happen if we didn't,
Oh.
if the state did not grant it to us. And now I understand. All right.
I guess, I think when we get to our board meeting, if you could explain up front that all this really is an exemption to doing all of the environmental stuff that we're trying to not do, rather than
I would,
let them think.
Well, there's exemptions, you can do a negative declaration, you can do a mitigated negative declaration, or you can do an EIR.
okay.
So there are certain types of projects that fall under exemptions, and this type of project would be considered an exempt.
Yeah, just a brief description. to
Yeah,
the
let's
directors.
make it quick. Yeah, a little more information up front
Okay.
will minimize all of the discussion.
Okay, so we've got, what do you need from us?
A recommendation that the board approve filing the notice of exemption.
All right, I think we're
Oh,
going to recommend that.
So move.
All right. Very good. Now we have item number 4, 2 vehicles, vehicle purchase.
Okay, so as you know, we have purchased a skid steer along with a gooseneck trailer to transport that and other equipment that we have. We had a truck that we outfitted with a gooseneck hitch, and recently the engine died. I don't know, it didn't blow up, but it died. And it's very expensive to get a replacement engine. I think it's the 6.4 liter Ford diesel.
So the engine completely failed.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it needs a full rebuild or replacement.
Okay,
Those are notoriously bad defective engines.
Yeah. So what we have is an opportunity right now with the electric vehicle mandate in that the class 3 vehicles, which would be like a Ford F-350 in a flatbed or utility box bed is exempt because there is no comparable electric replacement. Now, there is for an F-450, there is for an F-250, there is for cabin chassis, but right now, you don't even have to file an exemption from the electric mandate for an F-350 with flatbed.
how old is the old previous truck?
2008.
Okay,
So what we'd like to do is purchase two while we have the opportunity to.
are these funds from the budget already programmed for this type of activity?
So what we're looking at is we have 65,000 remaining from the skid steer trailer budget. We had 80,000 that was budgeted for a vac truck that we don't need at this time, as well as 30,000 from a walk behind saw that we haven't had the need for currently. So we would like to move those funds into purchasing the two vehicles.
What was the third fund?
Walk behind saw.
Well, now, there was also an excavator for 180,000.
That money was moved over into the Brady Street project for rentals of that equipment as well as to extend.
How much was the walk behind saw?
It was 30,000
And
budgeted.
how much is this, how much are your two vehicles? What are they gonna cost each?
Um,
Same vehicle?
so almost
The
the
same
same. One is a
vehicle?
regular cab and one will be a crew cab.
And they're both are set up for towing your trailer around? Hmm.
And it's about 175,000 for the two.
So what is the story? Why two?
It gives us a backup just in case we do lose a truck or one's down in the shop. We have the ability to keep moving the equipment around just in case there's emergency in
Well,
another town.
The crew cab is also a crew truck for the construction crew in which they'll be ferrying their people back and forth from the project. And if water supply needed use of that trailer, we have a second one that can be used.
The other thing to consider is that this could be our last opportunity should some manufacturer come out with a battery powered equivalent F-350 that we would no longer have the option to buy a diesel powered truck. So this could be our last opportunity to buy such vehicles for our fleet if those electric vehicle mandates continue to remain in place.
May I ask when we decided to spend the excavator funding for something else?
Yeah, we had this discussion in that we hadn't used any excavators in-house, so we didn't know which size we needed. So we decided to try out a variety, try out an excavator, see if it met our needs or not. We have already traded one size up for excavators. If we had purchased the smaller one, then we would be out.
Are you thinking you're going to
Well,
buy
I
one
can
next year?
remember
I
that-
don't know that we're gonna buy one yet.
Okay,
Yeah. So are we still evaluating the size of what we want? Is that it?
Yes.
But if we were to buy one, it would have to be put in next year's budget.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the only individual that was, I thought, very firm on the excavator was Chuck Griffin.
okay.
So my feeling is if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. 'Cause I agree, we need to strike while the iron is hot and avoid any problems on the outgo. But before I would recommend that we go with that, I would want to make sure that Chuck is, because he was the one that was pushing the excavator.
Well, this is, yeah, okay, all right. I see what you're saying, because the skid steer money is gonna be reprogrammed.
Yeah. I mean, I personally see no reason to not, I mean, as long as it's what is working now works, I don't
We
see
still-
any need to not. I mean, we can push it out a year without a problem, but,
We can still we can recommend the purchase and still have a discussion at the board meeting.
Right.
Do you feel that you want to hold the recommendation off? John?
Can I say something, sir?
Go ahead.
I want to say two things. So we bought the skid steer already in the trailer. We are not able to use that because our one source of moving that equipment is gone. So that trailer is now parked in the yard. So we have taken off a vac trailer off of a crew truck and we put on a flatbed trailer bumper pull, and that's how we are moving pipe to the job site now. So it's actually longer and bigger than the trailer. So we're taking not as much pipe out to the job site. So we're coming back and forth a couple times. And secondly, as far as the excavator goes, just to refresh your memory, the one we looked at that Chuck was recommending, we found out was even too small. We had to get a shoring box for this job. And if we would have went and bought an excavator, we would have been dead in the water because it wouldn't have lifted the shoring box or some of the equipment we needed. So the trial and error of renting the excavators have paid off. And we're also finding out that we have limited ourselves with the small excavator and a backhoe because as compaction goes, we're using a sheep's foot on our backhoe. So next year, if we have the same amount of funds moving forward, we're going to rent an additional excavator to compact so we can do the work more efficiently and we can get further along quicker.
Okay, now, the funds that we were using for this was part of the capital funds.
Mhm.
And next year, we're not gonna have capital funds, perhaps, or at least not as much as we've had in the past. And it will probably have to come out of our unrestricted budget. So I'm sure you're right. And if it weren't for the fact that it was a different director, if you just make the argument to him,
No problem.
he'll probably buy into it and I'm good with it.
Yes.
But I don't want to tell him that I'm killing this baby.
Copy that, sir.
You'd still like to withhold recommendation, just make it a full board discussion? All right, let's make it a full board discussion. I'm sure it'll pass.
Correct.
Okay. Grant funding, number 5.
So we have a list of projects that engineering and operations could have worked together on. And what we're asking for today is just permission from the board to send this to our point of contact in Sacramento, Ms. Brenda Bass, and see if she can match these projects to some level of grant funding that we can start to advocate for to execute these projects. In addition to that, if there are other projects that the board is aware of or might want to add to this list, welcome to hear those suggestions.
I want to point out just that this list is not in any particular order because not all staff could agree on what should be the highest priorities.
Okay.
But we did all agree that these should all be on the list.
All right.
And different grant programs might fund different projects that are higher or lower if we prioritized it by number.
Right.
All right. So we have a caller online. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, this is Renee Westelusk. Is the coating of the water tanks, the storage water tanks on that list? Because I think at the last board meeting it was brought up, it needed to be budgeted.
No, that's not on the list. That's considered a maintenance item. That's not a capital project.
It wouldn't qualify for grant funding
No.
in all likelihood.
Okay. Did that answer your question, Renee?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Grant funding wherever we can find it. And we can prioritize it, however we wish, and the staff probably ought to be the primary driver.
Okay.
I did note in one of the city council meetings that I listened to not long ago, the last month, that they were looking for state funding, the state revolving fund, monies to build their sewer treatment plant.
Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering now whether or not the state has gotten more money to put into the state revolving fund, because the last time we asked, which might have been more than a year ago, I don't remember now, But it wasn't 2 or 3, I don't think, years ago. It was reasonably recent.
It was in the
There
past
they
few
had no
months.
money.
Yeah, so Stan, there's a new funding source, Proposition 4 passed, and the California State Assembly is now allocating funding to this Prop 4, which is for water infrastructure. So this is a little bit of a different program, I think, than the state revolving fund, but it is, the state is allocating money and people are lining up to advocate for that money, and we need to get our position in line as soon as possible.
Oh,
if we would
we
like
ought
to
to
get
get in
some.
line. My feeling anyway.
You want a recommendation from the committee to accept this? I don't see why not. I agree. All right, good. Do you have a
More
recommendation?
to you.
Recommendation to research for grant funding. Okay, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, Renee.
Yes, this is Renee Westerlusk again. On that list, is there any of the Brady line project that you said it's going to be several miles long that you've got to replace? Can that qualify for grant money?
Go ahead, Renee.
No, that's not on the list. We have that budgeted over the next several years. I'll read to you what's on the list. It's the La Mirage area mainline replacements, cathodic protection for our CMLC transmission mains. That would be the ones on Bowman and Springer. The old D-zone tank replacement or perhaps rehabilitation. A second line coming either from the northwest or the southwest into town, so we have more redundancy. The Springer pipeline between Mahan and College Heights.
Well, that's the one where the pipe's neck down and it's necessary in order to have maximum optimized flow from one zone to another. That needs to be all put at the same size.
To the east side of town, yes. And then the C-zone booster needs to be replaced. That's the one that boosts from the C-zone tank site to the college.
How much does that normally cost?
Oh,
10 million, 1 million? Give me a ballpark.
2 or 3?
yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay, thank you.
So that's what's on the list.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Renee. All right, solar site security upgrades and solar system repairs.
The security cameras are all up and functioning. We have scheduled with I think it's Deploy that gave us
Loaned?
loaned us their
Rented?
security trailer,
Okay,
to come pick it up. I believe that contract ends the 19th of this month.
okay.
There is some additional work that still needs to be done at well 31 and 30 as well, to complete the repairs.
So you got the solar back up online.
Most of it.
All right.
They'll be back the week of the 16th to finish repairs. And I was told I'd have by the end of the day today a cost on the additional damage that they discovered at well 31.
Lovely.
So there was additional damage done between the time that we had the insurance adjuster out there and the cameras went up, so.
Well, here's the best part about that. They know who's buying scrap copper. It's the same thing with the catalytic converters. They know who's buying the scrap catalytic converters. They just need to track that back to who's risking electrocution. Just steel wire. This is how you get from a first world to a third world country. This kind of nonsense. All right, water system consolidation update.
Okay, I don't have anything new on Inyakern unless George would like to add something to that.
No, status quo, waiting for the state. I think the latest news is the state will at some point be scheduling a meeting out there. I think that's the next step.
Oops, all right,
Yeah, I think they said April possibly.
okay. Well,
Let's see,
we'll see how that goes.
Dune 3,
Okay,
we should have within the next couple of weeks, according to our grant manager, approval to proceed with bidding that project.
okay,
So it shouldn't be long before, hopefully we'll be out to bid by the time we have our next meeting next month. And I know that legal counsel did send the agreement to the owner of Dune 3 for his approval and signature. So I think we're waiting to hear back from him on that. He's not always really quickly to respond to something, so.
so Dune 3, two things. We're waiting for permission from the state to put out for bid. And the second is somebody is hard to get a hold of and,
The owner of Dune 3?
yep,
Yeah, he and the district have to sign an agreement to agree to
perfect.
consolidate, yeah.
Thank you.
Moving on, Stark Street, as you know, we talked about, we're working with the GA on that. And I know that legal counsel has contacted LAFCO and knows what needs to be done to get the emergency permission to do that consolidation.
And that's the, we have the notice of exemption.
Yes.
All right.
Mhm.
Working with legal. All right.
Rodemacher Way Phase 2, the GA is working on getting the last easements. They did sign an agreement last month with the third-party company to do the right-of-way for also Stark Street, so both Rodemacher and Stark Street. So
Okay.
hopefully they'll get that quickly, and then that could be the next project that our construction crew moves over to do.
Okay.
I'd like to make the board aware of some discussions that went on at the GA meeting with respect to Rademacher. So we're going to hook up all the people there, yet no entity has stepped up to say that they need to demolish the well that is there. And so the presumption that was discussed is that some people may continue to water their grass and this and that with that well. And there was a comment from the GA that, oh, the water district should go out and tell them to do that. I would recommend against that. I don't believe that's our job.
We're under no obligation.
And
So are we?
well, I want Renee to comment on, like, when we do these other consolidations, how does the state treat this? I'll let Renee.
Well, the funding that we're getting from the State Water Resources Control Board, for instance, for Dune 3 or possibly for Hometown, it is a requirement to destroy the well. It is part of the bid package to do the official, there's destruction of the well, which means that you are cutting off the casing, you're filling it with concrete, and all the pertinence, everything is removed, which is different from abandonment. Abandonment is capping the well off, disconnecting the electrical, that kind of stuff.
So
So
is the state requiring then destruction of these wells?
evidently, the DWR funding they have,
Okay.
the GA is not requiring that.
Oh, so normally in a consolidation, let me see, I'm sorry to ask ridiculously simple questions that Eric should already know. But normally in a consolidation, the grant money includes a statement saying the well must be destroyed.
Maybe it depends on the pot of funds.
Okay.
Our
Not-
pot of funds are different.
Usually, your experience is that's usually a requirement. It's not always a requirement.
No.
I mean, as far as we know, there is no requirement from the state to destroy the well.
Because that funding comes from the GA, that was their call. And so that's why I'm making you aware that
We
when
will
the
not-
GA said that
No,
the water
Okay.
district maybe should have some regulation, I don't
No.
think that's our position.
It's not. Two issues. First of all, well, irrigating with the water out in that area is not going to be good for your plants. Second is, if that's the GA's decision, the GA will make that decision, not the water district. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I know our position in the past has been when people have come to hook up to the district and have a well, that we have not required them to destroy the well, but we have required them to do a disconnect and have a backflow prevention device.
Yeah, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. All right.
I have one more update. I didn't have it on the agenda, but I do want to add Hometown because it is still hanging out there. We did request an amendment to the agreement with the state, which is to extend, or to change the dates, basically, beginning date of the project to account for expenses we had before the official agreement we have with the state, and then also to move the end of the project to February of 2029 to give the Division of Drinking Water time to do what they're doing with Hometown and possibly whether they're going to push them to consolidate or not.
Ah,
That the funds don't go away.
okay.
Yeah.
Stan, any questions?
No.
All right, cool. Anybody else? All right, let's go to item 8, Brady Street.
I'm sorry, you
Go
are
ahead.
going to go through the same stuff on next Monday.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah, just be sure to throw Hometown on there.
Yes,
Well, I was pretty sure, but
I will be sure it's on there.
If there's anything else I can tell you to do that you've already decided to do, please let me know. Item 8, Brady Street Transmission Pipeline Replacement Update.
All right. So our construction crew has put in 2,520 feet of pipe at this point. We are at the intersection of Ward and Brady. They're going to be working in that intersection over the next couple of days, and there is going to be a shutdown on that intersection, just to be aware. So everything goes well. We do expect to have this first phase of the project completed by the end of the month.
Okay. Question, Stan?
It sounds like we're doing just great.
All right.
And so congratulations to everybody. And I'm assuming that the quality assurance person is still talking to our
Yeah, let me,
construction crew. Is that?
We have,
Greg, let me comment on that because there's an interesting thing that occurred. There was a couple of connections that were put together and buried, and then later it was discovered that they needed certain sorts of restraints. So we will characterize this in the infamous plastic bag where it took, moving of mountains to get a contractor to come back. But when it's our guys, they're just going to go back, dig it up and fix it right and do it. And there's no drama. There's nothing going on that's going to stop us from doing the right thing. And it is so much better than this back and forth with contractors. And we believe that we're doing
Change
it
orders.
very cost effectively.
Okay, and somebody, I hope, has put it on their checklist that future joints of that sort are done
oh, yes.
appropriately.
It's part of the learning process.
Yes.
All right, so I noticed that there was a destruction of a driveway. Are we two? I saw them, they were rather nice driveways. What is the plan for repairing the damage?
We will be hiring out the contractor to match those driveways when we put them back in, when we're done pressure testing and we're all done out of the way.
And
That'll be kind of the last.
matching
step.
appearance as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want to be good neighbors.
Color, stamp and everything will
Yep.
be.
If they're
And,
driveways.
and we did, kudos to the construction and to engineering. They were in contact with both homeowners when we'd be ripping that out, and they were all aware.
And
And
they
they
didn't
were
come,
good to
no
go.
angry homeowners wanting to know why you were tearing up their driveway.
Yes, sir.
Good, because we do not want to be bad neighbors. Stan, any questions or comments?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's,
I look forward to next Monday.
And there'll be a review of the budget for Brady Street. Which agenda is that? Is that on tomorrow?
cool. All right, item 9, future agenda items. Anybody have anything they'd like to stick on the agenda other than hometown?
I've moved most things off that I had on my list because it's been put up into the regular agenda. But the one thing that's left that was on there was future capital purchases, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that as budget
Okay,
comes over the next couple months.
all right. Well, if there's nothing else, I want to thank Renee Westelusk for joining us. And I want to thank everybody else for your reports and your support. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And with that, we're going to adjourn at 3:27 PM on March 2nd, 2026. Wow.
2 minutes early.